Hi, my name's Alistair Chapman, and in this video I'm going to take a look at the differences between the two different shooting modes of this camera, the PXW-FS7. Now this camera has two very distinct and very different shooting modes. One is called Custom Mode and the other is called CineEI. And these two shooting modes are selected in the base settings page of the camera's menu. Custom Mode is very simple. It works within the constraints of ordinary television gamma. And it's what I would call what you see is what you get, where the picture in the viewfinder is exactly what's recorded. And then you take that recording, you edit it, and that's what's delivered to your audience. That's what the end viewer sees. So from camera to audience, what you see in the viewfinder is what the audience is going to see on their television screen. The CineEI mode, however, is very different. The CineEI mode doesn't have to work within the constraints of normal television gamma. So it allows you to capture a much greater dynamic range. So we can capture a much wider brightness range than would normally be possible in custom mode. The downside to this is because we are capturing a much greater range than can be normally shown by most TVs, the pictures that we record will look flat, they'll look washed out, and won't have much colour. They won't be very natural looking. Now what we do with this footage is we take it from the camera and we then take it into post-production where we correct it using colour correction tools or grading tools to restore the contrast and the colour to normal. So the CineEI mode workflow is a two-step process. We shoot with a very wide dynamic range picture in the camera that gives us this flat, washed out looking picture that we then take into a computer and we edit it and we grade it, and during the grading process we add the contrast, we create the final look of the picture that the audience will see. So the CineEI workflow is more complicated because it requires two steps in this process. In addition, in the CineEI mode when you're shooting, if you were to just look at what the camera is recording, and that's the S-Log2 or S-Log3 image, again it would look flat, low contrast and washed out. And that can make getting an accurate exposure quite difficult. The camera does have a function called LookUp Tables that allow you to convert what you're recording to something with better contrast and colour, and that does make exposure, monitoring, focusing, things like that easier while you're shooting. But it does also add a layer of complexity to the way you are shooting. But while the CineEI mode is more complex and more complicated, because you are capturing a much greater dynamic range, it does generally deliver a better end result, providing you know how to do it properly. Because of the extra complexity of the CineEI mode, I recommend that beginners, less experienced users, or those that simply want a fast turnaround, stick to custom mode. Set up correctly, the camera can produce some really fantastic images in custom mode that don't need any extra work in post-production. However, more advanced users, or those that really want the ultimate in flexibility in what they can do with their footage in post-production, that want to be able to have a great digital master that can be graded and manipulated in post, then I recommend the CineEI mode. There will be additional videos in this series covering custom mode and CineEI mode in much more depth if you wish to know more about them.